Hello everyone, and welcome back to Let's Play the Life and Suffering of Sir Brante, with me, Alpha Pi Omega, and Rudolf Brante. So we're well into chapter 3, now looking at the part called Bonds of Friendship, which comes right after we have decided which path we are going to take, which was the noble one. So I guess it's decided for now. There's not much else to say to that. So let's see what Thomas, who is obviously the guy on the picture, will bring us. You return to the lodging house one last time to gather your belongings for the move to your new home. Oh yeah, we're gonna live at the college, I guess. A young man dressed in the uniform of the military academy greets you by the door. It takes you a moment to recognize Thomas. Your friend locks you in an embrace. Brante, hey! How are you? I heard about the nasty stuff that went down in the college square. Those damn gentry would do anything to keep low-born folks under their thumb. Glad the situation resolved itself. As for me, I'm an academic cadet now. He is beaming with pride. You invite him in and chat while you pack. Thomas continues to relay the news as you walk up the stairs. Thomas, I made it into the top 10, can you imagine? Did pretty well in sparring and the sciences. It was all thanks to the help you gave me back in school in Anzio. I'll be studying the art of war now, and then it's a quick march to a noble title. How about you? You tell Thomas about what happened over the past few days, and the path you have chosen. He remains quiet as you speak. Both of you realize that you may never see each other again. Thomas, you know, Brante, here's what I think. You may have your own path in life, but you're my friend. We've gotta make sure our friendship lasts forever, no matter what happens to us. Here, I brought 2 brass rings. If the old tradition is to be believed, both the rings and their wearers will always remain close to each other, no matter where fate takes them. What do you say? The 2 of you grew up side by side. Thomas, the audacious, hot-blooded, sharp-tongued boy who you used to live next door. You can't imagine your childhood without him. But would it be right to promise him that your friendship will last forever no matter what happens? 2 rings made of plain brass lies in his open palm. If you wear these rings, you will be bound by ties of friendship for the rest of your life. Swear an oath of friendship. Take the ring. Okay. Keep things as they are. End the friendship. Okay, so if we took the path of the nobleman, we actually can only keep the things as they are or swear an oath. We can just take it or end the friendship. But I think, part of being a nobleman is shaping your life as you will it. And we are definitely going to stand by our friend. We did in the past and there's no change in the future as far as I can see. So we take the ring and bind ourselves to Thomas and swear an oath of eternal friendship. You take one of the rings from his outstretched palm. The 2 of you have walked side by side ever since you were children. Even now you are walking in the same direction towards a noble title. You as a judge and Thomas as a warrior. Nothing will ever tarnish your bond. You swear an oath of eternal friendship to Thomas. Thomas solemnly swears the same. You put the brass ring on your pinky, a perfect fit. Thomas follows suit. He starts beaming again. Now we're friends forever, for all eternity. We gotta celebrate this. Come, I know a place. I gotta show you. Tastiest mead I have ever tried, Brante. My treat. The 2 of you go to a noble salon by the square of Emperor Severin. Surrounded by tobacco smoke and mead bottles, you wag your tongues, recall the days of your adolescence, and make plans for the future. Nobody knows what could be waiting for you, but you promise you will never lose sight of each other. So, status with Thomas, bound by friendship. Nice. Year 1135, Fall. A letter from home. As soon as you are accepted into the Imperial College, you send a letter back home. The family replies quickly. Their letter arrives in under a week. Wow, how did they do that, considering that it took us a month to get here by a carriage? That's interesting. Most of it is covered with your father's handwriting. Robert, I am proud of you, my son, and I believe your grandfather takes pride in you too. You have brought our family one step closer to being ennobled by the sword. You will make an excellent judge. I have complete faith in your intellect and your will. You shall bring glory to our family. Stefan's congratulations follow your father's. Stefan, congratulations, brother. The simple folk could only dream of what you have already achieved. You can thank father and grandfather for this opportunity, but it was you who proved yourself worthy. Once you receive your new lot, you and I will be equals at last. Then some words of praise from Mother and Nathan. Lydia, you have brought your father much joy and made him proud, and I am witness to this. You now walk this path all thanks to him. Yet it saddens me that you did not consider the divine seminary, where you could have dedicated your life to our gods as well as the empire itself. Nathan, you worked so hard for this. We held a big feast in your honor back home. I hope you achieved all you've ever wanted. And at the very end there is a small note from your sister, Gloria. Congratulations. Good luck. Damn, I think she is afraid that we're gonna abandon her. Yeah, we would have like +7 with our father if we could. +4 with Stefan. Yeah, -1 with Gloria. We're gonna make it up to her. I promise we will not give up on her. The ball. It is only a few days since you became a student at the college. Your education has barely begun when an amazing piece of news surprises all the students. Every year, Cornelius Tempest, the great chancellor and the emperor's younger brother, grants an honor to all future nobles of the mantle and invites them to a masquerade at his summer palace. The professors and lecturers insist you to look and act your best in order to preserve the college's honor. They tell you more about the ball too. All who attended from the college must prove themselves with word or deeds to the member of the great Arcanian dynasties that will be present there. This means the reputation of your home province will be at stake too. It is time to get ready. You order a proper suit for the occasion and a mask to go with it. It looks simple, but by no means plain, and only hides your eyes. The day comes. You spend an entire morning preparing for the ball. Your fellow students give you hints about how to attach the cuffs, keep the collar straight, and make sure your hair remains coiffed for the entire night. Soon the carriages start flocking to Cornelius Tempest's summer palace. The tall, ornate outer fence surrounds a sprawling garden in full bloom. The marble-paved driveway is so wide it can accommodate 2 rows of carriages. You and your fellow students walk up the massive stairs to the front door of the palace. You seem tiny and incongruous against the background of the scenic grandeur. The Master of Ceremonies instructs all newcomers to seek their province's coat of arms. You see the banner of Magra from far away, depicting the silver tree digging its roots into the murky grey soil. Below it is a banner bearing the coat of arms of the Melanides dynasty. It turns out students from the college were not the only ones invited to this party. You see academic cadets lined up beneath the banners too, and Thomas is among them. A wide grin appears on his face when he sees you go under the banner of Magra. Thomas, I just knew you'd be here today, pal. What can I say? Congratulations, student. As for me, I'm not so bad of myself, see? The military academy is father and mother to me now. His merry speech is interrupted by a tall, proud Arcanian in a heavy cloak. You recognize him. He is Dorius Othon, Sophia's former master. Dorius, make way for your commander, soldiery. The last time you saw Othon, he was searching the back streets of Anisod by your house for a girl servant, but now the young Arcanian's uniform betrays his high standing. He is young, yet he is already the province's commander. Who put him in charge of all the military forces of Magra at such an age? Thomas, what's wrong? You know him or something? A brief description of Othon is enough to wipe the smile off his face. You see no other high official rankings bearing the colors of Magra at this party. It seems Dorius Othon will be the main representative of your province tonight. You watch the other college students and academic cadets line up under the provincial banners. The blue and silver banner of Archenia, the Emperor's own province, is in the very center of the hall. Judging by the hilts jutting out from beneath their belts, many of those who surround the banner are nobles of the sword. Thomas is clearly jealous. The group from Archenia stands proudly, ennobled by its iconic and dignified history. The Archenian race and the empire originated in their very lands. A sizable group of students stand under the banner of Monia, a wealthy agricultural province signified by yellow grains on a field of ore. The wealth of the young men beneath this banner is plain to see. Their attire is on par with the Archenians in terms of luxury and perhaps even more vibrant in terms of color. The most numerous group at the party stands under the banner of Illyria, a yellow griffin against a field of azure. All the Illyrians are clothed in well-tailored suits with a minimum of decoration. Some of them wear gloves. Most of them come from wealthy industrial families, and it seems many of them would feel more at ease in their family factories than a noble party like this one. 3 banners representing the northern provinces of Fiona, Hermia, and Constanta. These banners, like the groups associated with them, stand together. The Royal Tempest dynasty oversees all 3 of them. The students and cadets are clearly well off, yet they are dressed in modest, functional garments to honor the austere traditions of the North. And finally, the smallest of the groups is represented by an open book against field of Argent, Astinia, homeland of the Diamond dynasty. By the order of Patriarch Junius Diamond, the open book of the new faith has been added to the banner only recently. Nearly all the young men beneath this banner are clothed in academy uniforms. They wear no adornments, but are clad impeccably, with nary a button undone, the embodiment of rigor and restraint. The master of ceremonies signals the beginning of the party. It is time for dancing. The first dance is a minuet, and tradition calls for everyone to dance. Harpsichord music fills the hall. The academic cadets waste no time finding dance partners, and soon already making the fluid first steps of the minuet. You take a look around. One of the young ladies representing Magra catches your eye. She is slender, like all Archenians, and clothed in a yellow dress embroidered with emerald green, her face hidden behind a full mask decorated with bright green feathers. What happens next seems unbelievable. The enigmatic lady walks towards you. The way she looks at you, the way she walks. The black eyes from behind the mask watch you closely. She tilts her head. There is no words, but you feel there is a question. I guess the question is, where does she know me from? And that's because she is Octavia Milanides? Maybe? She's arrived. Okay, there's no this physical description of her here, but I guess the black eyes are what we are to expect. Everyone in the hall is startled by the sudden noise. You look behind you and see Thomas getting up off the floor, his face a grimace of rage. Dorius Otten stands before him, eyeing him with disgust. His arms rest on the hilt of his sword. Who allowed this clumsy commoner inside the great Chancellor's palace? Its noble masters are trying to dance, and it's getting underfoot. Thomas looks like he's about to explode in Otten's face, but the smug Archenian sword is a clear threat. If your friend's rage gets the better of him, he will end up in trouble. The enigmatic Archenian beauty, however, quickly loses all interest in their quarrel. She comes even closer to you, expecting you to invite her to dance. Dancing with the mysterious lady sounds like a great idea, but I think we're gonna go ahead and resolve the quarrel. A. We are to be a judge. B. We swore to protect our friend. So let's resolve the quarrel. You stand between Thomas and Otten before they can clash. The Archenian eyes you with scorn. You shower him with a flurry of apologies for your friend. Thomas has never been to this kind of party before and still has a lot to learn when it comes to etiquette. And besides, he's clearly flummoxed from witnessing an Archenian up close. Autumn smirks just barely enough to notice. Well said. Sometimes I forget you humans are barely smarter than beasts. Take pride in the fact that you were permitted to attend this party. You'll have stories to tell and all that. Very well, away with you, and try not to get in my way. Why, I recognize your face, now that I think of it. Ah, you hail from Anisud. I must have seen you there on the street somewhere. There are just so many of your kind about. But you're rather sharp, and you've been taught how to behave. That's a welcome sight. You back away from the Arcanian in a most gallant way, clutching your friend by the arm. There is a mixture of rage and bewilderment on Thomas's face. Once you are far away enough, he swears under his breath and heads for the refreshment. You follow him and watch him down 2 glasses of sparkling wine like a parched man guzzling water. Thomas, you've sure got the skill when it comes to sucking up to Arcanians, friend. You saved my hide today, no doubt about it. Still feels like a bucket of slop right into the face, though. It could have been far worse, you tell him. Better a moment of shame than a fight with a mighty Arcanian in the middle of the party. Assaulting an Arcanian is the easiest way to meet true death. Thomas says nothing to this and downs a 3rd glass of wine. Out of the corner of your eye you catch the mysterious masked Arcanian lady, all beauty and grace, dancing with Autumn. You could have been in his place, had you so chosen. +1 relations, +1 manipulation. Oh, well, that's actually not at all what I wanted and expected. Well, but you know, how did they say bros before ladies? Year 1146, winter, the trial of the 50. You have lived another year in the capital. Eterna has been shaken by what is now known as the trial of the 50. 50 people stand trial at once, all prominent members of several political circles. They are accused of treason and conspiracy against the crown. The accused spoke in favor of reducing the power of the nobles and granting more rights to the common estate. There was no mention of rebellion, yet those words alone were enough to indict them. Every session of the trial is open to public. It is a show of power made to discourage people from forming such circles ever again. You attend one of these sessions. The 50 face their verdict, forced labor in the mines of Magra and Illyria for regular members, and true death for their leaders, 6 men and 1 woman. Their public execution takes place in the central square of Eterna. Oh, these are the Ruthless. Damn, let's hope that the woman is not who I think she could be. You remember the woman, her name was Anisirin. She made a speech before her execution. A young woman, not too tall, her face almost plain, with long bangs over her eyes. She looks calm, even at this moment. You cannot believe she is about to leave this world forever. Okay, thank God it's not our friend. Anisirin takes a long look around before she speaks. Her voice is quiet, but you are close enough to hear every single word. She says she is happy to give her lives, fighting in the right for the people. Her cause will never die, Annie claims. Others, like her, will continue their work in hiding, for their cause is right and just. She is dragged away to the others. They put a sack over her head and tighten a noose around her neck. A hand yanks on the lever, and the 7 dangle in the air. Their feet tremble at first, then grow still. There are gasps and cries of discontent in the crowd. Okay, well, struggle for power dropped a bit, so the nobility gains more power. And order is actually increased. That's kind of interesting. I would have expected that this would decrease the order. People would get pissed, but I guess making making an example of them can coerce people to cooperate. Sir Elcroa, listen. Your studies at the Imperial College may have begun with a luxurious party, but soon you settle into a routine of lessons and after lesson. Wait, you settle into a routine of lesson after lesson. Ah, okay, my apology. Actually, I was thinking if my choice with the lady was the right one. But I mean, Thomas could easily get killed in that situation, so I guess that might be much better to save our friend than nothing else. Along with dozens of other future judges, you spend hours listening to lectures in spacious college halls with high ceilings. You study imperial law and legislation, analyzing every technicality and interpretation. The subjects only get tougher, and the instructors grow ever more demanding as your studies continue. Yet law is not the only thing you study. There are other disciplines as well, such as rhetoric and orthography. A true judge must have a perfect command of both the spoken and written word. Washing dark blue ink off your fingers becomes an indelible part of your daily routine. Of all your classes, you find the fencing lessons particularly exciting. Oh nice, we have fencing. Every lesson covers your body with more cuts and bruises and makes your muscles ache from exertion, but your childhood dream is worth it. Then, finally, there comes a short break in your studies, a handful of days for rest and recreation. You meet Thomas to discuss how you are going to spend this time. Thomas, you're coming with me tonight. No excuses, Brante. We'll be paying a visit to our mentor, Baron Elcroix. It's time you learned a thing or two about how we do things in the military. Your friend looks very cunning and pleased with himself when he says this. With a sigh, you change out of your college uniform and into your best clothes and follow him. Thomas rushes you to a 2-story house somewhere in the noble neighborhood in the capital. Its windows are open and you can hear people talking over each other. The house's sitting room is filled with young people. At least 24 men, almost all of them academic cadets. In the middle of the sitting room is an armchair, and in the armchair is a gentleman wearing the uniform of an Imperial Legion officer and smoking a pipe. His thick hair falls over his large, observant eyes. Baron Elcroix welcomes the two of you with a slight nod and continues his speech while everyone listens respectfully. Gunther Elcroix, as I was saying, young man, I firmly believe that the days when all the military glory of the Empire belonged to the Archean dynasties are long gone. Human nobles have been serving the Emperor at least as well as the Archean nobles for a long time now. Still, the Archeans keep acting like their origins are more important than honor and service to the crown. Take the Melanides dynasty, for example. The Archdukes of Magra, long ago their leader Char Melanides, fomented a rebellion against the rule of the Tempest and the Twins' faith. He sucked all life from his own land, doomed thousands of his own subjects, and yet the Melanides dynasty still rules over Magra like nothing ever happened. Then, suddenly, Sir Elcroix flashes a cunning grin. I think this calls for a test of your strategic thinking, young man. But first, let me refresh your memory of the rebellion of Char Melanides. It may seem surprising, but we have him to thank for our current status. He was the first to ennoble humans, an act of unprecedented insolence, but it gave the rebellious duke immense support in his province. He risked his own reputation and title to make himself stronger thanks to humans, and in that he succeeded. No one had ever dared to challenge the rule of the Archeans and Tempests before, but the rebellion of Magra changed everything. Humans became a part of nobility. We got a taste of power only the Archeans could wield before, and, unless I'm mistaken, most nobles in the Empire these days are human. Why? We outnumber the members of the Archean dynasties dozens of times over. So, Char Melanides has complete rule and control over the lands of Magra. He had the loyalty of his ennobled human subjects, and he had the loyalty of the mages and witches who fled to Anisoth, the only place in the Empire where they could hide from the Church. The Archduke of Magra had everything he needed to win, and yet two pivotal changes brought him down. First of all, he cast a magic spell that incinerated the entire province. It certainly stopped the Imperial legions in their track, but the population of Magra would no longer side with Char Melanides after that. Second, the clergy struck at the rebellious duke with the power of the twins. His magic was gone, and his main advantage was no more. Many fled, but as you know, it still took the Empire the entire month of siege before the palace in Anisoth was taken. After the rebellion in Magra, the Empire changed drastically, and most importantly, humans finally received their lawful right to be ennobled. And I'd like to stress that in particular, ennobled not by birth, but by virtue of their own knowledge and talent. History, young man, is more than just a memory of the past. It is also a lesson for our future. I believe that part of our history proves my point. And now, a test. Tell me, if you were among the Imperial strategists during the rebellion, what would you have done? How would you have fought an enemy as powerful as Charmilanidas? With this, Sir Alcroix leans back in his armchair and takes a pull from his pipe while the cadets start discussing. Some take no time to say they cannot believe Sir Alcroix thinks humans were first ennobled by serving the rebellious Duke. Others say that prolonged palace siege might have been a mistake, and storming the palace would have been a better choice. Soon ideas start flying. Some cause only laughter, while others lead to a debate. They are discussing the past of Anisoth, the past of your hometown. You cannot possibly stay silent now. If you were in command of the Imperial legions back then, what would you have done? Based on what you know about the rebellion of Magra, you see 3 potential strategies. The first involves calling upon the twins Miracles to rob Melanidas of magic and render him powerless. The second entails putting your faith in the discipline and valor of the army for a frontal assault. The third means drawing out the siege while making the enemy's life as hard as possible through cunning. Which of these 3 strategies would you have chosen? Rely on the will of the twins. Press for a decisive assault. Lay siege to the palace. This is a tricky thing. I don't think relying on the will of the twins is a good thing. Pressing for a decisive assault. Actually, laying siege to the palace might sound like a good idea, but considering that they charred the entire province, there would be a huge supply shortage. So pressing for a decisive assault. It's actually neither of these choices would be a good thing. I guess if the supply situation would not be... let's check our character and see what, valor. This would boost theology, I think, and the other one would probably go with manipulation. I guess valor then? Not sure. Taking the city quickly would probably lead to less casualties in the long run. You decide it is time for you to answer Sir Alcroix. You begin by stating that you hail from the city of Anisoth yourself. The cornerstone of the rebellious Duke's strategy was ennobling humans, you say. This won their loyalty and formed them into a veritable army. An army loyal to its leader can achieve any feat of valor, so the Imperial legions also ought to have relied upon the valor and unity of their soldiers, inspire the warriors, earn their loyalty, and take the castle by storm. That is the way. Sir Alcroix looks at you, studying you attentively. Brante, is that your name, young man? I will make sure to remember it. You are absolutely right. The soldiers' loyalty to their creed, their commander, their emperor, these are the things that make for an undefeatable army. So were we right, or was every choice right? And I wholeheartedly agree, a decisive assault would have brought down the castle at the rebellion's very inception and destroyed all their will to fight. And this, young man, is the moral of the story. Charmilanidas was defeated, but not by the clergy and their players, and not even by the noble militia assembled by other archdukes. He was vanquished by the Imperial legions, a unified army with clear regulations and ranks, and a clear chain of command, an army that is strong in discipline and loyalty to the Emperor. Long ago, only Arcadians had the right to wield weapons and wage war, but now humans can prove their merit and earn the same right, humans like ourselves. And the present empire has grown even stronger thanks to its new warriors and functionaries. These days humans can judge and rule and create. The terrors wrought by the rebellious Duke are undeniable, yet his rebellion created new possibilities for all of us, including you, young Sir Brante. He nods to you in approval, and then his eyes finally move away from you and back to the rest of the young men in the hall. After hearing him praise you, no one dares to argue with the battle-hardened officer. The evening continues. Sir Alcroix shares some of his war stories, each more astounding than the last. You join Thomas and the other cadets in sipping wine and enjoying his tales. You return to the college long after midnight. You often recall Baron Alcroix's story about the rebellion of Charmilanidas after that. The rebellious Duke lost the war, and yet he brought about drastic changes for humans and the entire empire. Okay, so our valor increased to 15, and eloquence increased to +1. Okay, so we need more eloquence and a bit more valor to become a dangerous enemy. So, next chapter is called... Oh, the year 1146, Summer, Letters from Home. Okay, we're gonna read that in the next episode because we're already hitting 30 minutes. So I'll start the new episode, and that's gonna start here. So thank you for joining me. See you then.